Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. I am Demetra K. And again, I hope you're having a great day. I am sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. The purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you to my wonderful moderators for all that you do in holding down the comment section. It is much appreciated. Now, listen, originally I wasn't even supposed to be here today. I was supposed to be off and away, but that didn't happen for your girl, right? God, whoever it is, had other plans, and he was like, "You're gonna stay right here." So I didn't get to leave. Okay, that's a whole different story. Maybe one day I'll tell you about it. But nevertheless, today we're going to be talking about Black Americans checking immigrants in Harlem, New York, to be exact, for trying to take over the Harlem block. I'm going to show y'all a video. It is very interesting. Yes, it is. And we're going to have a conversation about all of it. Clifford, how you doing? Kevin, what's going on with you? Lord Flawless, how you doing? Don't need no man. Stop telling me I do. I think that's the whole name.
You need a man.
Rice, how you doing? Arneva, and cut from a different cloth. Hope that you are doing well. Donovan?
A lot of women needed a man yesterday. It was Valentine's Day, but for those of you ladies who ain't got no man, happy Valentine's Day, belated Valentine's Day. I know you need a hug, so I'm here to give you a hug.
No phone.
Welcome to Welcome to the Demetra K Show. It is Sunday here in Southern California. When it's 3 p.m., that means it is Demetra K time. And hey, you guys, we know you guys could be doing 101 other things around the world, watching the boring All-Star game with nobody in it. But you're here with us talking about these issues that affect the Black community and just affect the United States in general, where we live. Do me a favor. It does take time, effort, and energy to put on these shows. And Demetra gets up super, super early, so she would not mind a coffee every now and then. So if you guys want to help the content creator out and buy her coffee, you're more than welcome to do that. But look at the bottom there. We got a scrolling banner, and you could also donate to the show by Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that other great stuff. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store, where you'll get additional channels like the Emancipation Channel, and you'll see people like Demetra K, Vicki Dillard, Brother Phil Scott, and a whole host of Wongale and a whole host of other producers on that show. And speaking of Demetra and Brother Phil, you guys will be seen in Columbus, Ohio, coming up in, I believe, July. So if you guys, May, I'm sorry. Well, I'll let you talk about that. But in May, I know you guys will be in Columbus, Ohio. And if you guys want to see Demetra K and Brother Phil Scott in person, that's one way you guys can go and see them up there. Say hi. It's going to be a topic conference. So if you want to be a part of the conference and the talk, you guys can do that. But I'll let Demetra talk a little bit more about that. But we want to get that message out there that Demetra K and the African Diaspora News Channel team will be in Columbus, Ohio in May. So you guys be on the lookout for that. So this is going to be an interesting topic here. People are starting to wake up. I have told you guys many, many times, from going to basic city council meetings, when you dump a bunch of illegal, not even just illegal, just a bunch of people with a different culture into your community, and you let them run, and they run for public office, they start talking and changing the dynamics of your neighborhood. Just recently, Demetra, I don't know if you heard, up in San Jose, California, 2 more Hispanic council members got caught on mic undermining and talking racist against Black residents. These are people that sit on city council. And did they apologize? They apologized for being caught.
Absolutely. And I'm not surprised about that at all. I mean, again, as I see more and more things, the question that I have is, what did we as Black Americans really do to anybody? And I even see the Native Americans. I saw there was this, some guy is running for the Senate or something out here in Texas, and he wants to deport the Native Americans. It's like, man, y'all that hateful. And of course, I know that they are, right, and racist, to where you want to deport the Native Americans who was here before you. right? Like, so what are we doing? And I'm in the comment section of this particular post, and people's like, who's gonna tell them? Hence the word native, right? Like, yeah, like where are you gonna deport them to? They're here, So again, I think about those things, and then to your point about just kind of giving people a little bit more time to come on here before I play the video. About the city councils meetings and different people speaking negatively about Black Americans. Is like, well, if it wasn't for the struggle of Black Americans, y'all wouldn't be here. Y'all wouldn't have the positions that y'all have, and y'all get in those positions, and then y'all want to, for one, gatekeep, hate, and talk greasy about people. And then, like you said, when you get caught, it's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, I love Black people and all this other stuff. But it's like, again, and if it wasn't for our ancestors, and the civil rights movement, things like that, that was originally for Black Americans and has been hijacked by everybody else, you wouldn't have what you have. And so then again, when you get exposed, because we already know that, right? And when we say those things, and now listen, I'm from Southern California, Donovan's from Southern California, and Southern California has a very heavily, let's say, Latino, Hispanic population. Not so many Blacks as it used to be. So yeah, we all have stories of things that have happened or has been said to us, let's say by that community. Is like, what? Like, why are you mad at us, right? We've really done nothing to you. But again, as I'm learning, and I tell y'all, I keep studying more and more about, the relationship, especially kind of with Latinos, not even necessarily in relation to Blacks, but just them in general. Again, they have to distance, and I'm speaking if I was one of them, right? They have to distance themselves from Black Americans to let white supremacy know, hey, I'm not like the Blacks. I don't like the Blacks. I don't want no civil rights. I don't want nothing. I don't even want to align with Black Americans because they didn't want to be mistaken as Black or thinking like Black. So they align themselves with white supremacy. And so those things have just permeated even to 2026, where they still walk and talk like that. So then when you think about what's going on, like with the ICE raids, and I know it's not just the Latino, but it's probably at this point predominantly Latino illegal immigrants. So then you hear a lot from their community. Where are the Black Americans? Even other communities is like, well, we've started to study and hear the things that you guys say about us and how you feel. And again, especially like in Southern California, we know all the gatekeeping y'all do. Y'all even gatekeep a McDonald's job. Now, some people might think, especially if you live here in Houston, well, McDonald's is not a big deal. In Southern California, it's a big deal because I think they're making about $20-some an hour. So you could go to a McDonald's and see, now hiring. All right, I'm gonna walk my Black self up in there, okay? And you might see somebody who ain't Black. Hey, I want to work here. Can I, can I get an application? I know you do it online now. I think we're not hiring. But then you look back in the kitchen and all up and through the restaurant, it's their people. So I'm just talking about McDonald's because even something like that, they gatekeep, especially away from us. And so I don't, and in framing this conversation today, I don't want to come off from a place of hate. I know that it would probably be like tit for tat, and I'm not saying some of it is not deserved. I just don't want to come from that. I want to come from a level of understanding, because when we know how, and we should always try to figure out how other people think and how they behave, that way we can understand how we are supposed to behave. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, well, hey, brother Jonell, how you doing? Mike Nice, what's going on? And I'll say hello to everybody in just a moment. So, anyway, this particular video takes place in Harlem, New York. Of course, Harlem was where the Harlem Renaissance was. It was at one point in time, majority of Black Americans there. It says that at the highest population of Black Americans was in the 1950s, with 98% of the residents being Black. Okay, now it's about 44 to 51% Black, maybe not so much closer to the 51, because it sounds like the majority in Harlem may be white now. I think it says white, Asian, and Hispanic, and Black. So maybe it's white, Black, or something like that. Nevertheless, it's not majority Black. Now, anybody who's been to Harlem, I've been to Harlem, you know that they have a very rich culture. And there's a lot of people there, right? They even have a Spanish Harlem, so I don't want to discount them. But they have a very rich culture of, people hustling and selling on the corner, on streets. It's just what it is, right? You might get an incense, you might get, some shea butter, whatever it is. So people are hustling. Now, this particular video that you're going to see, it's about 6 minutes long or so, but I wanted to play the whole thing because there's actually some stories being told in this. This particular day was Valentine's Day, I guess, or the day before. And on Valentine's, you see people selling stuff like hearts and flowers and balloons and stuff like that. Now, this video you'll see is a Black woman. She's selling stuff. And then you're going to see somebody else who decided, I want this corner. Okay. And then you're also going to see Hawk Newsom. Now, you probably heard that name before. Hawk Newsom is the president of the BLM Greater New York chapter in New York, right? So I guess he drove by and just kind of happened to see all of the melee going on, and he started to record, and this is what you're going to see. So here we go.
This is my uncle's spot, 40 years in this same location. And this
Oh, and before so at the beginning, it's a typical New York City, a Harlem scene. So it's a little bit of a lot going on, but you'll be able to, the noise will die down a little bit so you can hear a little bit more of the story. I just want to tell you that.
Individual showed up today, and as a matter of fact, if you're in Linden, you have common courtesy.
Sir, you can record your stuff.
I'm not close to you. My name is Hawk Newsom. I'm the chairman of Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
I suggest before you do any unjust shit to me, you recognize who you're talking to.
So first of all, I wasn't cursing at you. I just told you don't get so close to me.
Go ahead, sis.
And Linden, you have a common courtesy. You would never go into somebody else's spot, and they know that they're there. And I asked them, you can move over. So what I did, I kept going. I don't keep going. I don't have time to go back and forth. Of course, we two ladies. She got a mouth, and I got a mouth. Okay? And this is true. So now what I'm saying is, you're not going to think you're going to bogart here, because that's not going to happen. Okay? So now,
Been here forever.
you know my uncle.
Of course.
He's right here. Chest man. He just passed. I'm not letting nobody take away this corner.
Absolutely not.
They've been here since 10 o'clock. Fine. Move over and we can both make money. Before, I don't know how long y'all been at 2-5, but before we had Plant Man, we had Heath Deceased, we had another flower, artificial flower arrangement, also a card vendor. Everybody ate. Nobody had a problem. There was never a police call when they go to do That's right. And now when
100% legal.
when all of these people, they're all deceased. Okay? And I'm not gonna let anybody think they're gonna come and mess up this corner. Only thing was in this corner was chess. Okay? Mm-hmm. Kids come from school, you sit down, you sit down, you get lunch. If you don't have money, my uncle would give them money. They go over here, Chase Bank. This here school, everybody in this neighborhood, 32, 25, all of them, big, Chief Wright, everybody behind here, okay? When they make this for Mother's Day,
You ask her to move over because you've
Of
been
course.
here all this time.
Of course.
And you have a problem with another thing being here. I don't see what the issue is. I just keep to resolve the issue.
Okay.
Like I said, she's moved right across the street.
okay, well, tell her to stop calling y'all, because y'all have been,
Like I said, it was just one 911 call.
2 911 calls. She done called 2 times.
Ma'am,
Go ahead.
I'm an officer.
Go.
It was 191 call.
Okay.
The 32 came. It's
True.
my location. That's why we came.
Okay.
My location. Like I said, she doesn't. What she explained to me, she didn't have an issue. That it seems like when you got here, you had an issue with her. Now,
Okay.
I get it. Everybody wants to make money.
Everybody wanting to make money. She's been here for 30, 40 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. She's been here for 30, 40 years. People come to see her. That's disgusting what you're doing. It's nasty what you're doing. You should move out of respect for what you've been doing. That's disgusting what you've been doing. It's disgusting what you've been doing.
I'm gonna speak with her.
Then you should speak to her. You should speak to her. Thank
That's the
you.
problem. You see, I don't know, you all see it, but I'm Gibbs, okay? I'm Gibbs. I'm American Native Indian,
Say
okay?
that.
And let me tell you something. You see how they stick together? This is why we got to stick together over here. Because you see that she talks Spanish, she cursed me, I curse her back. Any devil coming against me,
Regardless,
I can...
we all gotta stick to her.
Well, guess what?
No, they know
You
we
see
all
that
gotta
over
stick
there?
together.
You see
Those
that over
people
there?
not telling her to move because
Do you
it's
see
wrong.
that over there?
Auntie, you can also make sacrifice, but you're not sitting over here.
Yeah, all she can do is move right there.
Common courtesy.
She can move across the street. You've been here forever. This shit don't make no sense.
He came out and he asked her if she had life. She said that her life is about my ass. Her life is about my ass. So I'm trying to be nice.
If you in Harlem come to 135th and 5th Avenue to buy your Valentine's gifts. They trying to push this black woman out of business, and they calling the cops to push the black woman out of business. They wouldn't have told this other lady to move if we didn't come out here. You need Valentine's stuff, you come to 135th and 5th, and you tell her that Hawk and Vonnie sent you.
Yeah, we're not letting black people get ran out of Harlem. We didn't stand for generation, and we're not standing for migration. This black woman's family's been here for 35 years. Come get your Valentine's Day stuff from her.
Right on.
Yeah. That's your daughter. Back to y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up.
Absolutely. No, we just saw you. We was dropping by.
No
We're
doubt.
like, is she good or they shopping? We couldn't tell from the street.
I spoke with her. She's saying that she have a walker and all that. That's why she's sitting over there. If you don't mind, can you please just...
Hell no! No way! No way! Are you out of mind? She shouldn't be on this corner. She's talking about she's out here this morning. She's been out here for 40 years. She's been out here for 40 years. You gonna ask the black woman to move? If she was crawling, don't tell her about no walker. No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. She's been out here for 40 years. For 40 years. For 40 years, it ain't happening. She not moving. Out of your mind. Come on, push up. That's your resolution. You go over there to tell her to move, and then she tell you to tell her to move. Get the out of here. Make it make sense. It's other benches down there. It's other benches down there. That's her excuse.
Who has an easier time to logistically move?
They call the cops to move the black lady off the corner.
Been here 35, 40
Been here 40 years. Stop playing, man.
You know better. You know I'm not moving.
That little rinky-dink setup. She got roses and teddy bears.
Did that on purpose. She's on a devil
Come
assignment.
on, man. That's what that is.
She's on a devil assignment.
They shall not be moved. We will not
That's
be moved
right.
in the name of
In
Jesus.
the name of Jesus, on a devil assignment. That's what she's on.
No, they ain't getting a piece of nothing. The sister's not moving. Hell no. Go down there. She been here for 40 years. Where's the respect? Where's the respect? It's disgusting. That's why you're not going to make no money. And no, she's not moving. That's disgusting. They've been out here for 40 years. 40 years? 40 years. And you come and jump out here this morning? That's disgusting. That's disgusting, bro. Come on, man. Go somewhere else. Harlem is huge. You gonna come somewhere where somebody been for 40 years, as big as Harlem is? That's disgusting. That shit disgusting.
It's nasty.
All this nice stuff. Y'all make sure y'all come out here and shop, man. Support black business. Y'all
And
make
she
sure
here
you
for
come out
Mother's
here
Day,
and shop.
Father's Day, every holiday she right here. And she be here 24 hours. She don't even go home. That's why people need to stop looking out their damn window. Hey brother, you can feel it different. Take that one.
No, I see that one.
Go feel it. Now take that one in the other hand.
Black woman.
Let me make her
Okay, so I know that was pretty lengthy, but I wanted it to play out because there were, some things being said. And so, as she said, her uncle, who had recently passed away, he manned that corner doing what she's doing, right, for about 40 years. And so she just started doing it as well. And as y'all saw, the other ladies that sat up, I guess, directly behind them. I don't necessarily know who got there first. I should say, needless to say, that the black lady did not have to move. They actually made the ladies behind her move, right? But I saw somebody point out that the cop was of, somebody said Spanish descent, but Latin descent. And then later on in the video, y'all saw her go talking to the, the ladies, Latino behind her. She did. She started speaking Spanish, right? So right there, we knew, because if you also heard the sister, she said, you see how they stick together? We got to stick together too. And then the Latin cop was like, oh no, we all got to stick together. And you heard Hawk Newsome like, that's because y'all don't believe in that, right? And then the other cop, I'm not sure what he was, after he went and talked to the ladies, he gonna ask the sister, well, can you just move down a little bit because the lady's on a walker? And that's when Hawk lost, and I have to bleep some of that out. But I want to say, I know Hawk got, he got his issue, whatever, but, big ups to Hawk, because he do be in the streets, the trenches of New York and looking out for people and things like that. But he was like, she not moving. Are you crazy? Why would you ask the black woman to move? These ladies just got here. Now they want to come and when they can't get their way, now they want to call the police on people. Oh, now what if Hawk wasn't there? What if because he said he just saw the commotion, but what if he wasn't there? Would that officer because if y'all saw too, she was kind of in a sense coddling those ladies, like, well, however, where, so would they have made that sister move after she told the story of all the people that used to sell stuff, but she said they're all deceased now, but she talked about the children playing at the chess club and her uncle giving them money for lunch. So she was describing community. So she's saying, this is how it is here, but when they come in here, they try to disrupt that and make you the enemy at home. So to me, there's a lot going on with that. And we're going to have a lengthy conversation. I don't want to take up too much time because the video was long and I want to give it to Donovan, but I'm glad that she did not have to move. But how many more times is she or anybody else going to have to keep fighting them off when they know good and hell well they have no business doing what they're doing? Donovan, and I'm going to get into the comment section just a bit.
Man, I don't really know what else needs to be said. The brother there, said what needed to be said in direct to that situation. And, right is right at the end of the day. When you're in Rome, you're supposed to do as the Romans. But we've been talking about this from immemorial. And I know sometimes Demetra and I, we have a diversions of, how we look at things. But as you guys see that follow me, I go to my city council meetings, and I'm going to tell you right now, we have a town that is a third black. We have one black council member out of 5. Where do you think all the major resources goes in my city? They have literally got on the city councils here and turned this city, which was a military city, into Little Tijuana. And I'm not exaggerating that. Demetra could vouch for everything that I'm saying. This is what they do, and they divert the resources constantly. And I tell you guys, that's why it's so important that you go to these city council meetings and see what they're doing in your name. You will find out that the ineffective black person, as we see on the national level, is caping for the immigrants. But the question you need to ask yourself is, why are they dumping the immigrants in the black communities and making our resources, which are already limited and we keep fighting for every day, going to the immigrants? We've got veterans on the streets and there's no resources for them, but you can solve immigrant homelessness, but you can't solve veteran homelessness. I mean, make it make sense, you guys. I'm not saying, people who legally come here should not participate. Notice the difference. And Democrats will do this a lot. And if you're a Democrat, I'm not talking specifically to you. But Democrats, they like to muddy the waters. Illegal immigration is a direct threat to black people. Just like Demetra talked about, that little job at McDonald's for $21 an hour, that's a game changer for a lot of people who don't have skills. And before all these immigrants got here, who do you think did these menial jobs? Who do you think were the construction people? Who do you think were the servers? Who do you think were the bus boys? Who do you think were the sky caps? That was us. That was us. And we made it work. I mean, this is very dangerous, what is happening. And why does it take situations like this for some black people to wake up? When your neighborhood has historically been black and all of a sudden a new culture has come into your neighborhood and has fundamentally changed it, where you got tamale carts running around and whatever else that wasn't there before. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical. I'm telling you my experience here. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I never saw what I saw in my neighborhood unless I was in the Dominican Republic around that time. I've never seen another culture make money off of an American holiday or whatever you want to call it and put their spin on it. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when I see, especially you ladies, and I'm not talking to you ladies that have sense and that are on this show, and you guys know what's going on. I'm not talking to you guys. But when I see our Black women who are the first teachers fighting for illegal immigration that threatens your children, your grandchildren, and your future legacy, I just have to shake my head. This is the playbook, and this is what they do. Ask yourself this: can you go into their country and do what this lady did in our country, in our neighborhood? As somebody who's traveled the world, I will tell you, you damn hell no. Hell no. We better start waking up. But what do you guys think?
Absolutely. And Tim, by now, hopefully you've seen the topic of discussion. I know it took me a little bit to get to the comments. Who was it that said about her, the lady being a pretendian? That's the word. I've heard that term a few times. Who was it that said that? Kid Grebo, how you doing? So he says she was Indian. Well, I know that there's a lot of Black Americans who say that they're Native Americans. Some are saying that they're Indian. I don't go too far into the weeds with that conversation because it's above my Afro puff. So I believe that's kind of probably where she's going with that, because clearly she's a sister, right? So I don't know, what her deal is. Just kind of clearing that up. And Dana, you said you want to interview with me. You can email me DemetraK@gmail.com, DemetraK@gmail.com to tell me the nature of what you want to talk about. Okay, so let's see here.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to my man Tim Moloch, Air Force veteran, all that other great stuff. He constantly watches the show, and he's slowly changing, looking at stuff from a different perspective. He's still who he is, but he's slowly seeing some of the points we make on the show. So he's been following us for a while, but he's in the chat.
Absolutely. All right, so let me get into the comments. And Sister B, how you doing? Says our sister was describing community legacy and history. Come on now, those devils are anti-Black colonizers, and that's why I wanted the whole story to play out instead of kind of just clipping it and stuff, because I wanted y'all to hear the story and the history that she was giving of the neighborhood. She like, we're not new to this. Like, this is us. Harlem belongs to us. Then you have this encroachment going on, and here, as she said, the lady called the police twice, but the police is like, well, it was once. It don't matter, because to me, it's like, you here. No matter how many times 911 was called, you are here trying to tell me to move when my family has roots here. And this lady with 3 balloons and a doggone dusty stuffed puppet is sitting up here trying to take my corner. Because my thing is, if that Black woman and her family have been there for almost 40 years, you don't think that lady's ever seen her there? She knew that corner was already commandeered. And like they're saying, it's common courtesy, it's respect. You sat your funky self up here thinking that I'm going to call the police on her and they're going to give me my way. And my thing is, like you said, Donovan, you move into our neighborhoods, and then you want to completely just change. Not only do you want to change the drapes, you want to do the whole landscaping and a whole host of other things, and then be mad because we don't like it. It's like, huh? Who's supposed to be all right with you? Because you're stealing money is what you're doing. So you're saying the way you've been making, if I'm the Black woman, the way I've been making money, man, screw you. I'm coming over here and I'm taking over, right? Because they kept telling her, just move over. So what you're telling me,
taking food off of that woman's table.
Yeah, but what you're telling me is you want me to acquiesce the foolishness of this. In a sense, some of y'all said the word colonizer, right? She's come in here to upset the apple cart, and now I got to move over. Why? Why did she? And as they said, there's all kind of spaces she could use. It's not like there's a bunch of people here, but she wanted this corner and wanted to bump me off and then do what Miss Ann would do and weaponize the police to move me so she can sell her funky stuff. It's lunacy, but to them it's not lunacy. It's, you're Black, I'm not. I'm better than you. Deal with it. That's what they see. And they can't walk. They got walkers, but how did you get there? How did you get there if you couldn't walk? So yeah.
Hey, real quick, J Money 15 says stop spending on them. We supposed to be boycotting, but here's the thing, and I agree with you, J Money. But you got to understand. I'm not sure if you come from a border state or you're in an area where there's a lot of other people. They don't depend on black dollars to be successful. They spend among each other. If any black dollar that adds to that, that's even greater. But they, trust me, they don't depend on black dollars to be successful. They patronize each other's stores. They stick together, like the lady said in the video. Demetria, am I wrong, or am I close to it, or what?
Yeah, no, they do, but notice how the cop, when the sister said, well, look how they stick together. We need to stick together. Oh, well, we all, the cop, right? I think she's probably Dominican or something. So we all need to stick together. It's like, no. You don't really believe that. And case in point is they came back and asked the sister to move. So what happened to this? We all need to stick together. You see, because again, that goes in line with when I always say, they say we have black and brown unity. They only talk about black and brown unity when they want the black to help the brown or to acquiesce the whatever it is of the brown. It's never the brown. Hey, brown, you moved in on this lady's corner. Why don't you? They didn't even want to have that conversation first. They wanted to tell the sister to move. So they don't even believe in this. We all need to work together, because if we all working together, you wouldn't have sat yourself there in the first place if we was all working together. See, they don't never have to convince us of trying to work together. They don't like when we work together, because they, in a sense, think, oh, well, they're working against us. It's like, no, we're not, because you're not on our mind like that. We're not working against you. We're working together. But yeah, we don't work together when it means that you trying to come in our neighborhood and do what you're doing. Yeah, we gonna stand 10 toes down together. But even the cop was like, oh, I mean, anything like that. If you don't go on somewhere, and don't y'all have a fitness test anyway? Kevin, so he says East Indians don't like black people either. They identify as white, so that's why he tried to get the black lady to leave. Yeah, and then he's like, well, can you just move? Hawk was like, no, I had to bleep that out. I wish I could have left it in. One of two, how you doing? No, one of two. I think that's how I'm jacking up. But how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Easy said same thing in Houston. Teddy bear stands on every corner. Yeah, and that's kind of par for the course with holidays and stuff. But come on, man, if you've seen the same old person there in the neighborhood for that forever, you gonna try to go. See, there's a lot of places people who will be like, it's my corner.
Especially if it's the sweet spot, you know what I mean? Everybody knows it's a major intersection and stuff, and that's where a lot of the business goes. And every city has a spot like that.
Yeah, and the lady knew that. She thought she was gonna bully the lady, and then when I can't get my way, I'm gonna call the police on her. That's what them folks do. I can't, get my way. I'm gonna weaponize the police, and we know, especially in New York City, they itching to do something to black folks, right? And that lady knew that. I can't make you move, so I'm going to call the police on you, And then talk about how she can't walk. You really ain't going to be able to walk and keep messing with me, Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Yeah, so you read J Money. You say I'm FBA, but I got some native blood. I had two grades that was full blown, but I'm trying to learn my father's side. Yeah, so that's kind of where I think she was going with that. So yeah. All right, so let's see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit. Linda, how you doing? Says black people start calling ICE when you have a problem with immigrants. For me, I'm not gonna do that because they might be here legally. I just not want to, and I say this a lot. I'm not gonna be calling ICE on people. Now, if you acting a fool, yeah, I call the police on you. And then if you ain't supposed to be here illegally, they'll figure that out, right? But I get the sentiment. For me, I'm not trying to be like a turn the other cheek type person. I don't think that's helped us at all. But I definitely think standing together when that kind of stuff happens helps, because they know that gone are the days, I don't know where you got it from, that you just gonna bulldoze black people up out the neighborhood and out their way of life. Those days are gone. So yeah. Zyha Micah, I hope I said that right. How you doing? You say, all due respect, a lot of our people will not and do not celebrate those pagan Hellenized holidays, whatever it is. I don't celebrate. I forgot that it was even Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate at all. Not like I see everybody's videos and pictures and people gotten engaged. I think that's cool, but I don't celebrate that. I'm not gonna give these white folks no more money, okay? Because today somebody then took their spouse's life. And last night they was celebrating Valentine's Day with and they went right back to the hate. So no. Big Hair says all in the books and archives that we are the true people of the land and the Indians. If you have not studied and done your genealogy, keep your views to yourself. Yeah, like I said, I don't I know what I am, and I don't hardly have any Native American in my bloodline at all. Almost none. So I know some people do, mine's just don't. So just kind of, that's why I said I don't speak about things I have no idea. Brother Jonell, and hold on a second. Kevin G, how you doing? Says black dollars don't hurt them. I'm seeing in Chicago. Okay. Brother Jonell says Kwame Ture said, organize with our unity. We build community that crushes all nonsense. Our disconnect is why they feel so comfortable to even pull that amongst us. We should sober up. Come on now. And that's why you heard the lady cop. Well, we all need to work together. You don't believe that? You don't believe that? So yeah. Jerron, how you doing? Says when Puerto Ricans came over in the 70s into my city, the community forced them to only live on one street. They are still there today. Oh, okay, yeah. I know that there is a heavy Puerto Rican population in New York, as I guess it's closest to New York or whatever it is. Yeah, it makes me sad when I hear about Harlem and how it's not what it is or used to be, and it's gentrified heavily. Them people, they want to get up in there and change the culture and all kind of stuff. And it's sad, but we do need to do a lot more gatekeeping, right? So yeah. Okay, so let's see, who else haven't I seen? And then I'll get back in sunlight. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sister Shirley, what's going on with you? Hope that you are having a fabulous day. HGLC says Harlem is so gentrified that I should have read your comment. No longer majority black. White folks want to shut down the drumming circle in Marcus Garvey Park. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So them folks are doing that. And then everybody else is like, oh, that's what we're doing. That's the culture. You want to think like, oh. I'm telling you, like when I think about it, it enrages me. It really does, because it's like the audacity, it's like the mayonnaise-ity of it all. Y'all want to go where, but what happened to white flight? Y'all took off and you moved in your own neighborhoods. You don't want nothing to do with no black people. But now all of a sudden, I'm going to move over there. I'm going to move over there. I'm going to change everything about it. The drums and the this and the that. And even in, I heard in DC, where they have the go-go music and stuff playing. They was mad. They didn't want that. It's like, now we're going to turn it up. Now we're going to turn it up even louder, because nobody told you to move yourself over here with your mayonnaise sandwiches. Nobody.
See, but here's the thing. And this is what I keep trying to tell our people. You could move out of the neighborhood and do black flight, white flight. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you. There's nowhere to run. It's like when you see these guys doing police chases. Where are these people going to go? Eventually, the cars, either you're going to crash or you're going to run out of gas, and they're going to catch you. There's nowhere to go. So you need to stay in your communities and make a stand, because when you move out somewhere else, it's going to be more expensive, most likely. And then if you move out, your seniority in your community is gone. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but Dimitri will tell you, I've been in my city for almost 50 years as a resident, and all of the officials know who I am and this, that. And I'm not saying they're kissing my butt, because that ain't happening. But they know I know where the dead bodies are. But when you move to another community, people are going to look at you as the outsider because you moved there, rather than staying where Big Mama was, or keeping Big Mama's house and being the landlord there, saying, hey, my family has owned property here for years and years and years and years. And real quick, I want to get to this comment from Mr. Moloch. He says, here's one for you both. Is it me, or does the country place more emphasis on Valentine's Day as to the history of Black history in February? Good point.
I don't know. It might. honestly, and Tim, this is not directed toward you at all. I don't care about either holiday. I don't care about Black History Month, and I don't care about Valentine's Day. And I say I don't care about Black History Month, not that I don't care about Black history, because I celebrate us all year long. I know that originally it came from Carter G. Woodson. Originally, we had Negro Week. And then in 1976, Gerald Ford gave us a month, the shortest month. And that was to coincide with the birth of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, during that time. So I get that. And I'm okay with the emphasis or the extra emphasis on Black history. But see, now we're to a point to where everybody else who may be Black in America, but are not descendants of, slavery or whatever, that's hooked to this here. Now they're trying to hijack it and say, oh, well, it's about us, even to the point where people have to say, oh, it's Black American History Month. And it's like, but we weren't having to say that before. You know what I mean? So I celebrate us all the time, and we should celebrate us all the time, right? We should be celebrating Black history, but we also need to be focused on making more history. As I said in the video on the African Diaspora News channel, when I'm dead and gone 100 years from now, I want people to talk about me and the things that I've done. I want to be Black history. So we got to be working toward that, because if you start celebrating Black history on February 1st, you'll stop on March 1st, right? And with Valentine's Day, it's a money grab. When you start learning about how it works, how consumerism works, they have to tell you to get out there and spend money you probably don't have. And get this, most of the people, the couples that was probably celebrating Valentine's Day on February 13th was probably fighting over who gonna pay the bills. Right? So then they go out and they go spend all this money to say, I love you, when you should be doing that with your action anyway. Because I don't care, you can buy me the Hope Diamond. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. And that diamond is not going to change, right? So we have to understand that, yes, those are consumer holidays. Even Black History Month has turned into consumerism. You can go into most stores, Walmart, Target, or whatever it is, and you see they got a Black history section. They got t-shirts. There ain't no Black people making money off of that. That's them folks. They have learned to commercialize Black history. But if you knew your Black history, you wouldn't need somebody to give you a month. You would do it anyway. So that's why I don't get too far into the weeds with any holiday, really. Most of the time, people have to remind me, it's Mother's Day. Oh, what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you have no problem talking about it's Father's Day. Celebrate me. I'm messing with you.
I'm the mother and the father. Okay. Brother Jonah says they know to whom sit next to get Black economics. So who to sit next to rather to get Black economics. Everybody feed off of our Black dollar comfortably. Business is warfare. We got to become a self-propelled people, especially in business. Organization is fear amongst us because our economics become self-structured. And if we shop Black first, come on now, says therefore and greed will dry up. They got their hands in our pockets, smiling at us. Shop and support your Black owned first. And Brother Jonell, they not even smiling at us no more. They following us around the store. I don't even go into their stores like that anyway, to be honest with you. But I remember the days where I had to put stuff back because why is you following me? Right? Why are you following me? And I had to put the stuff back. And I never, went back to those establishments, but now they don't even hide it. Donovan, do you remember when we went to Sacramento with the NAACP? What legislation did they want us to take to the assembly?
Oh, it was an anti-stalking in a store bill or something like that.
And me and Donovan were flabbergasted. Like, why not just tell these? Because it was the youth part of the NAACP, right? So I went in a public relations capacity. Donovan was there, public relations, just helping and stuff too. And me and him are sitting there like, why not just tell these kids, don't give your money where you're not wanted. But you want to make a law to force people who don't want you there to stop following you as you spending money. I said, surely what are we doing? Right? Now, of course, the NAACP is closely aligned with the Democrats, and that's their ideology. Let's not up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. Let's beg others to do for us what we could be doing for ourselves. I could not believe it. So yeah, Let's see. Yeah, cut from a different cloth. Mayonnaise madness. Tammy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Big Hair says DNA can show you who you are related to, not where you come from. This is why it says for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. Well, I've done an extensive DNA test, and my family, I should say, and I don't have any Native American in me at all. It's probably less than a 0.%. Just
get your butt back to Nigeria. No, I'm joking.
I mean, my people do come from Nigeria, but my people have been here since the 1700s thus far that I have researched, right? So, I mean, I know there's some people saying we didn't come from Africa. My people came from Africa on those boats, okay? So I can only speak for myself. Mad Dog, did I say hi to you? Not hello. He says they're all up in our black business. Yeah, and we all up in theirs, giving them our money, right? 23 Archer says when things like this happen, file police report and build a file, make it public. Yeah, but as you see, the police was on, they with the stuff. They trying to tell the sister to acquiesce the foolishness of these people who encroached upon her, Audrey, how you doing? Says we know the odds of getting 60 senators to support the SAVE Act or ending the filibuster are very slim, right? Says Polly Market has the SAVE Act at just 13 chance of being signed into law. So I actually meant to brush up on the SAVE Act a little bit more, but for what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, some of that has to do with identification, getting IDs to vote. And I know that the Democrats are against that part of it. And I'm independent, right? I'm nonpartisan. And I don't understand why. And who is it? Ralph Warnock, and a couple other these people, right? This is a black senator. They're mad, talking about, a lot of black Americans, black people don't have IDs because of this, that. And I'm like, knock it off. See, because they sell us short, right? Oh, they don't have IDs. If I wanted to go get drunk on a Saturday night, I'd need an ID to go buy me some alcohol, right? You need an ID to do just about anything. But when it comes to voting, why make that a law? You should have an ID. You should have an ID anywhere. Maybe you don't have a driver's license, but some sort of identification. Donovan got 400 forms of identification as a vet, a driver, he drives, passport. So do you have one? Do you have at least one? So to say that black folks are, they're trying to, what is it, Donovan? They're trying to disenfranchise.
Jim Crow laws, and they're poll taxing and stuff. That was an era gone by, and they passed a law to protect that. And I talked about that earlier in the week, how you got to have an ID to get into a club, whatever. But look at what's happening here in California. Less than 6% of black people, and counting, it's getting lower, are not in California. Do you guys realize, and I say this all the time, politically, not only are they gentrifying us physically out of our neighborhoods, they are gentrifying us politically because we have no voice, because there's not enough of us to vote. Black people have no say-so in the state of California. And as a border state, because California gives IDs to illegal people, this is Democratic policy now, illegal people, truckers, whatever, and it has been proven they are finding people should not be voting in these elections. We're getting outvoted. How do we know that these people whose name is Rodriguez, Sanchez, are they legally allowed to vote? If you have no way of vetting them, you're just letting them, come in and vote. And this is what's happening in California, where black people, California is the most populous state in the union. And black people have no voice here. Maxine Waters, all you guys think Miss Maxine is about the black folks and she's just supported by the black folks in South Central Los Angeles, right? You guys actually believe that, right? Go look at the last election. 72% of the people that voted for Maxine Waters was Hispanic. And as long as she's doing the Hispanic bidding, she can stay there. Go look it up.
Hey, Maxine got some serious competition too. She got some serious competition this time. Before it was like, she's going to win. But now people are seriously challenging Auntie Maxine for that seat. So she's going to have to stop following behind ICE for a little bit to fight to keep her seat. And let me go back here. Yeah, how you doing, Facts Not Feeling? Yeah, I've been to Japan. Donovan, lived in Japan for a while, and I would say that they don't do that. They are completely different in Japan. They're as for from what I saw, they're not anti-black. Any anti-blackness I might have seen over there came from other people from different, them people from other parts of the world.
Yeah, and if you guys want to know why in Asian countries they don't do what we do here, culturally they don't have to. Have you ever been to an Asian prison? If you thought Mexican prisons were bad, you don't want to go to an Asian prison. Trust me.
I actually know somebody who did, and they say, yeah, it wasn't it wasn't friendly. Hey Rose, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Buckhorse, you said you bought you a new flat screen TV. Okay, you got some money, huh? J Money says, yeah, I worked as a vendor in San Antonio. Every HEB I went to, they treated me like I was stealing, so I don't shop at HEB anymore. I go every once in a while HEB. I don't think I've had any problems. I could tell when I'm being followed around. Like if I'm at Walmart, I could kind of tell people follow me around, or just different stores. Now, I will admit, sometimes when I leave the gym, I do look road hard and put away wet, right? Because I got my beanie on sometimes, and then I have my hoodie pulled over. And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe they think I'm gonna like run out of here. I don't know, some toilet paper or whatever. But they never say anything to me. But yeah, I would say I'm probably followed at least one time a week in whatever store I might go into. I think anyway. Chase Mall. I'm gonna jack your name up. I don't want to do that, but how you doing? Says y'all need to do your genealogy DNA tests are not sound. Yeah, I agree with all of that. We have done our genealogy as well. But again, like I said, I just don't get into the weeds with what people classify themselves as. I just try not to do that. Frederick says to go to Nigeria and they get citizenship for free, they're gonna forcibly put you back on that boat and tell you you're not one of them. Yeah, and that's what they should do that in other countries, right? You can't go on there and move over. I'm here now. You shouldn't be able to do that, But especially, hey Monet, how you doing? And African Native was going to say, of course, one cannot vote without ID, but that's what they want. But the thing is, though, when people come over here and especially encroach in black neighborhoods, they want us to take it, and then are appalled that we're mad about it. It's like, huh? Like, so, but that goes to show you the narratives that they've been fed and that they believe about us. Oh, they're nothing. You can just go and just do whatever you want to them. And Donovan to tell you, was in South Africa. That white lady, she found out the hard way. I'm not from South Africa. I'm from Southern California. Okay. She found out the hard way. I know you be talking greasy to them over there, and I hate that they let you do that, but I'm gonna let you know. We'll move all this luggage up out of this thing up over here behind you disrespecting me.
And y'all, we were in the Seychelles. We had left South Africa and we had landed in the Seychelles. This is where all the rich people go that determine what goes on in our lives. And Demetra was about to get it crunk in the Seychelles.
Because who was you talking to?
On the plane. We hadn't even deported yet.
Who are you talking to? I know you ain't talking to me. I don't care how many yachts and planes you may be coming over here with. You better hope you make it to them yachts and planes talking to me like I was, yes, shit. She's probably like,
I had to distance myself in case law enforcement came out, because somebody needs to be free to post bail. Okay, so.
She won't talk to another Negro like that no more. I guarantee you that. Facts I Feeling says only a fool in USA who look black, sound black, culturally black, and everything else black say their ancestors are not from Africa. That, dear brother, that's why I say I don't get into the weeds with that, because that's a sticky conversation. Yeah. Sister Show said I wanted to know, how does Jim Crow 2.0 the same as how is it the same as getting ID? But that's the narrative that they're drawing. Oh, they're trying to disenfranchise us like the poll tax and the Jim Crow. Is like, man, get an ID. And an ID. Why wouldn't you want an ID?
Well, think about it. Don't you need an ID to apply for social welfare benefits? Everybody's got an ID for that.
Yeah.
Don't you need an ID to be on a student campus, a college campus, even a high school campus? Don't you need an ID?
Don't you need an ID to go visit your man in jail? I mean, I'm not that I have that issue. I've had that issue before, but I'm just saying.
And then you guys got to think about this. The whole plan of the Democrats to flood the country in with these people, and you guys know how I stand on it. It's a census thing as well as an election thing. What they don't understand is when you're dealing with Latin people, how do most Latin elections go? If you've studied Latin culture, there's a bit of corruption there. So the stupidity of the Democratic Party was the fact that they were betting on these people to have the same type of cultural structure in how to vote as Americans do. Latin cultures don't have that. That's why their politicians are in bed with the cartels. And I'm not trying to stereotype, but you kind of know where I'm going. There's a bit of corruption in their politics. We have corruption in our politics. There's no doubt about it, but it's not like that where you got the cartels and drugs and all this other stuff. If you talk to a person, let's say from Guatemala or El Salvador, fundamentally, they don't have a problem with their politicians making a little side money, but how they vote is very conservatively. So if you look at the last election and look at how the Latinos voted, and Demetra, and I say this all the time, as well as a lot of you guys have said it when I go to your pages, why is it that the Latins that are here in America keep coming to Black people for help? When if you look at the numbers, 60% of Latinos voted for Trump because they're conservative by nature. So, it's just amazing how all this stuff plays out.
Yeah, and 23 politicians are supposed to be for everyone in the district. And the problem is they're for everybody but Black Americans. And so we're asking not just for you to only do something for us, but do something for us too, and also, right? Now, it's nothing at all, but then they want you to show up and vote, right? Like Jasmine Crockett, she's running to be the senator rather, and she's saying, I was listening to her on NPR the other day, one of the biggest problems is that there are a lot of people who don't vote, especially Black Americans, not even registered, just, not. So you have to get out there. But I'm like, the problem is they don't know what they're voting for at this point. Now, there's a difference between voting for, let's say Jasmine in this case, voting for Jasmine. Okay, I'm voting for you, but what am I going to get for voting for you, right? You're chastising and admonishing people for not going out to vote. Or they don't want to vote. But you haven't answered the question as to what's in it for me to get out there and vote. Now, we know that state and local level elections are very important, even I would think more so than the federal. But you being Jasmine Crockett or anybody else, you're just expecting to guilt people into, our ancestors died and it's the American right to vote. And okay, great.
Oh, he's racist. He's racist.
Right. That too. Right. And I started to talk about that today on here, but it's like, again, and I think the Democrats will be successful with the House or the Senate, maybe both. Right. But they're still going on with the Trump bad. Okay, we know already. But what are y'all going to do? What do we get? If you want to go back into office, why should we put you back in there? Because for Black Americans, from our vantage point, it's like, okay, Trump's bad. Democrats have been bad for Black Americans. So why should we change one bad party or, whatever for another one? Why should we do that? And they're still not answering that question, because we know that when the Democrats go into office, who's going to benefit is going to be immigrants, illegal immigrants. It's going to be everybody but Black Americans. And they're going to go back to even more benign neglect. So she's, feeling a way about people not showing up, but it's like you ain't told them why they need to show up. All right, you're fabulous and you're walking tall and talking tough. Great, but how does that put food on my table? Let's see here. Big Hair says Maxine was hopping out of that black XL, telling people to keep protesting. Yeah, she about to be up out of a job. African Native says, why not shopping online to avoid human interaction? You could do that as well. There's a lot of black-owned businesses, obviously, online. So yeah. Let's see. Let me skip down just a tiny bit. Jay Money says in San Antonio, the Latinos try to block black workers. I would say that's everywhere. I worked at Frito-Lay for years. I started working there in 1995, and I saw that. I mean, I had them lie on me, all kind of stuff. I mean, one time this Latina, she lied and said I was kicking holes in boxes. I was kicking holes in boxes. Okay, that's like in the 90s. So they called me into the office. They said, oh, such and such just said she saw you kicking holes in boxes. I said, okay, first of all, why would I be kicking holes in boxes? And they didn't know what to say, because I guess they thought I was just some stupid, I don't know. So why would I be doing that? I said, oh, I don't know. Well, she said she saw you doing it. I said, can you show me where the boxes are with the holes in them? Oh. I said, yeah. So she flat out lied on me is what she did.
You put that box in the compactor. That 90, that big old compactor thing.
People saying boxes. Like I'm just da-da-da, da-da-da, just
you and your man had a fight. You came to work pissed off,
But I'm like, don't call me in here and y'all didn't do the basic work to see if it was even true. But the point that I'm making is they took her word over it and thought I was some turnip that fell off a truck, and I wouldn't do it. Why would I be doing that? Where are the boxes with the holes? Oh, yeah. She's effing with me, and for no reason at all. And I'm in my young 20s then, right? And as I'm older, I'm like, oh, okay, she's trying to get rid of me so she can probably get one of the homies up in there. That's what that was. Just flat out lied on me. I wasn't even being aggressive with the damn boxes, let alone punching holes in them. But yeah, so sometimes they do that kind of stuff. Let's see. Kevin say Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago was a prime example of doing for Hispanics and not the black communities. And he's still trying to do that. He's still doing it. Still. Soto, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. True old Mega Black, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Easy say D about to put them hands. Yeah, it's like I don't know what that lady thought on the plane, but it's like, who you talking to? Y'all know damn well you ain't talking to me, because and it made me mad, I think, to know that she talked to somebody like that, and they're okay with Miss Ann with her funny looking self talking to them like that. Because what had happened was she got a little too close to me. She was acting like Miss Ann on the plane. You get to lean your seat back. She gonna whisper her in my ear. First of all, you're too close to me. Okay, I don't want no mayonnaise on me. Oh, can you put your seat up a little bit? No. So then we get off the plane. We're getting off, right? She's behind us. She probably didn't like that either, that she's behind us. So when the plane stopped, you open the thing, you get your bags. She all up on me. Boy, I was already heated.
Now, mind you, Demetra got her bag, there's nothing, well, they got the big bag check, but she's got this bag. It had to be at least 35 pounds. She's one-arming it. She's one-arming it.
With one arm, because she all up on me. When I tell you I snatched that bag, it probably came that close to her head. Be careful. I said, no, you be careful. She didn't say nothing else, because I'm like, we on that type of time, because I already got on my damn nerves on this whole flight, thinking I'm gonna move up. Lady, if this seat goes, and you better be happy it don't go no further back, because it'll be in your lap, because this is what they allow us to do on these planes.
Right now, mind you guys, this is the Seychelles, so there is no like air bridge there. You're on the tarmac when you get there, because it's an island, right? A bunch of islands out there. We still got to go through immigrations.
And we might not have been making it. Listen, lady, go on and get your seasonless clams on the half shell and leave black people alone, okay? Hey, how you doing? He says you need an ID for a library card, but you don't need one to vote. What are we doing here? You know, but again, they playing black people cheap, like we used to. Oh,
And I want you guys to think about this. If there's no ID to vet these people, they get their people in there, then they change the laws legally because they become lawmakers to where, oh, now it's legal. You don't need to vote at all. So guess who loses in a situation like that? You lose, your children lose, and your grandchildren lose, and your legacy loses because now they control the board. Think about it.
But Donovan, how about this? And hey, Ebony, how you doing? Says I had to give my ID to use a restroom in a city building. Right. But how about this, Donovan? And hey, brother Don, my triple OG moderator, how you doing? Greta, what's going on with you? And Sakina, what's up? You say, I believe she means that she's a native New Yorker. That's the way we say it. So that's what I thought too. I thought she really kind of meant that, you know, she was black. But so Donovan, think about this. Why not, in a sense, because I think they probably could, right, on a city level, legislate something where we have a national or city, right? A citywide get your ID day or whatever it is. We're going to allot this amount of money. In fact, we're going to have a bus. It's going to pick you up, drop you off at the DMV where you get your ID or driver's license. You know, well, and then you're going to go through the process and we're going to pick you back up and take you home. Voila. Wouldn't it be easier to say, hey, you need an ID anyway, opposed to you infantile black people, you can't get an ID. See?
Right. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, I know people hate Donald Trump. I don't know how you could hate somebody you really don't know. He's legislating, and there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't do this. The Constitution specifically says the states and local municipalities control elections, but there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't have a federal ID across the board. Those people that are citizens, you can get a federal ID and you can vote in the election where you live. There's nothing against that. But again, you know, people want to play these domino things, and black people are just so irresponsible, and we can't protect ourselves. We can't do anything for ourselves. 60 years later, nobody else has to have a Voting Rights Act or a bill to ensure that they vote. A person could come here from another country and they can vote. I'm born and raised here, and I got to have legislation to protect my right to vote. Make that make sense to me, Dimitri. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it doesn't make sense to you because you're a thinking man. They know, unfortunately, most people, and I don't say most, but a lot aren't. They just, yeah, why do I need to get an ID? You know? But like I said, when the Saturday night comes and you want to go get all the Thunderbird and Mad Dog 2020, you're going to have an ID. In fact, you're going to be, okay, yeah, I got my ID. But they're telling you, and I'm deducing it down to something as silly as that, but they're telling you that, oh, well, they're trying to disenfranchise you because they want you to have an ID. You need an ID to do a lot of things. And depending on what type of medication you picking up at the pharmacy, you need an ID for that. Guarantee you, if you need some Vicodin or something, you're going to have your ID because you don't want to have to go back home to get it because they're not going to give it to you, right?
Even if you want to use your Obamacare, you want to go to a doctor, you got to have an ID. You want to access you got to have an ID. So, I mean, why is it that we're comfortable giving total strangers basically that receptionist your ID and all your information, but when it comes to voting in your national elections, you don't want an ID, but let's reverse it. Go to another country and try to vote in their elections. You don't think they have ID? You just can't vote in another country's elections without showing some form of ID that you are a citizen there. Go try. See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody comes to America and they take advantage of all these loopholes. But you go to their countries where these people come from, you can't do any of this stuff that they're doing here.
Absolutely. Sunlight says, so Elon is black. I don't think he's black. He's African American though, because he's South African and he's in America. I blocked Elon on Twitter. I know that's or X. I know that's his platform, but I blocked him. I don't try to go on X a lot, but when I did, I was just sick of seeing his foolishness, and I was sick of seeing people get upset about the foolishness that he talking about. He's very anti-black, right? He brings his apartheid ways over here. He definitely hates black people all over, right? And he wants to bring the same system over here. So I just have to block him because I'm like, I'm not going to let this idiot gaslight me into his foolishness, right? And their time is up anyway. And they know it. I don't care how much money Elon has, he'll never be able to stave off what they got coming to them and the motherland and here. They'll never be able to stave that off. So that's why he keeps talking about this, basically, this white nationalism. We got to keep it white, you know, and now he's talking about, he's been talking about deportation of immigrants. It's like, fool, you an immigrant. You know, but again, that's why I keep saying white supremacy, they hate and white people too, or that they see themselves as supreme no matter where they come from. They think they're superior. Elon is over here, immigrant in America, talking about deporting people and keeping it white because it's not the white people. Just shut up. You know, you ain't even indigenous over there in South Africa. Take yourself back to Dutchland or Europe, wherever you come from, if you're so concerned about keeping it white. Or I have a better idea for you. Find the polar bears and go live with them. I'm just saying.
Well, remember, he's making a rocket ship to go to Mars. That's where all the rich people are going to go.
And you know what? I want that for them. Go to Mars so the Mars could tear our asses up. Okay? Y'all go up there. And see, this is the thing too, Donovan. I really believe that's what they're trying to do. I really believe they're trying to find life on another planet. But guess what? God is in control of the universe, boo-boo. So you can go to Mars if you want to. You're not going to escape what you got coming to you. You know what I mean? They got it coming.
Well, you guys remember that space probe that's still in the solar system has been taking pictures and observing, and they're going to be, I think the mothership is on the way, hopefully.
Oh, they know. They've had to talk about the mother plane. They said, we've seen it. We was like, we know you've seen it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has told you and told everybody, right? It's also been prophesied Ezekiel's will and all that it was out there. But that was the United States government thinking they smarter than everybody else. And they had to finally say, yeah, it's out there. And they know, right? We've seen the government talking about they tried to shoot stuff at it and it just bounces off. They're like, we've projected, per se, our strongest weapon that we have known to man, and it just boop, bounces right off of it. I wonder what that's about, right? And they know, damn, the strongest weapon we got can't do nothing to it. No. And send all that white supremacy up there and see how you do with that, since, you know, so send the white nationalists up there and see if they can talk to them.
You know what's crazy? I was at the warehouse, or not the warehouse, the tool crib, whatever you call it, right? And we have a religious guy in there and stuff like that. And he kept, you know, he's talking about God and all this other stuff. And I said, okay, well, cool. I said, you do know God's black. I just threw that out there. I said, you do know God is black. He fought me tooth and nail. Now, he's a super Christian guy and he's a nice guy, but, you know, again, they will not accept that the God that they are believing in and praying to is a black man. And so I showed him the scripture where Jesus is depicted and what they say about him. And I said, look, I've spent many years in the Middle East. There are no pale skinned white people over there. And I'm not trying to, you know, do this. But what I'm saying is, even when given facts, these people, these supremacists, will not accept the facts. I mean, we all know this. Hair of wool. What does that mean? Feet of bronze. What does that mean? Eyes of fire. That describes a dark-skinned man. Even if you don't believe it's a black man, it's still a dark-skinned man. Most people with melanin in their skin live near the equator. You can't be lily white to do that. But even knowing those facts, he still would not accept it.
Yeah, most people can't, because we've been taught that Jesus is white. I always tell people, close your eyes and envision Jesus. Most people will see a white man that looks like a surfer dude, right? He's, you know, hanging 10. He's got the blonde hair, the blue eyes, and the very pale face. Most people see that because we've been indoctrinated into thinking that Jesus is white. Also, they know most people won't crack the Bible open for themselves and actually hear about who Jesus was, where he lived, and all the stuff that you just said, right? They just take the word for it and then look at the pictures. I mean, most churches, whether it's in the continent here, they have a picture of white Jesus, and on the, you know, and whether it's in the stained glass or pictures, it's white Jesus.
What was the most controversial episode of Good Times?
With Florida. It was mad.
Florida and the Black Jesus. Exactly.
Yeah. That's blasphemy. You know, and even I think it was Jet Magazine and one of them, they put up a Black Jesus and people were canceling their subscriptions. Jet Magazine was black, y'all. Black American. This is back in the day. Okay. They were canceling their subscriptions. Because how dare you? This is blasphemy. It's like, fool, you don't read the Bible. You just hallelujah and don't even know what you're saying hallelujah to.
Yeah, everything is right except that part.
Yeah, you know, as my dad used to say, because you're in love with white folks. Everything about them, they mouth is a prayer book. You know, if the white folks didn't say it, then it can't be true. The white people tell you that Jesus was black. Well, if they didn't say it, he ain't black. You know, it's lunacy. You know, and it's something like the independent candidates don't have a black agenda either. So yeah, well, so when I say that I'm in, and I know you probably talk to somebody else, but when I say I'm independent, that means you got to earn my vote, right? That's what wins elections is the swing votes, right? The independent votes. Okay, I'm in the middle. I'm not tied to anybody. Why should I vote for you? Go, right? That's what that's about. But yeah, a lot of independents. They say they do like your Jill Steins, your Butch Wares, but then they are also kind of sounds like for some other things that would, in fact, harm Black Americans. So it's like, hear you, but then I don't. Hey, Arson, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Big Hair says you need an ID to get into the DNC, but not to vote. Right. You know, if you were running for candidacy, you had to have an ID.
You need an ID to do deletions. You need an ID to be in a basketball tournament. You need, they got to verify your age, and you know what I mean? It's like it just doesn't make sense how you would be against something that protects you and your community. It protects you and your community.
Yeah. And Greta, that's a great idea. That's where we should be thinking, right? Okay, if y'all say Black people don't have IDs, now ID and a driver's license are two different things, but they're still state IDs, right? One tells you, it lets you drive, and one to say, hey, this is who I am, my age, and all of that, without the driving privileges. But yeah, since they say so many Black folks don't have IDs, yeah, let's start some drives where, because you're gonna pick them up to vote, right? Don't they have the stripper vans picking up people to vote and stuff? Well, you can't do the stripper van and have them go get some IDs and foot the bill too, because you're paying for the strippers. So pay for the IDs as well. If you're really concerned about people not being able to vote, just take care of that.
Right. And you know what? Now that we're bringing this up, there shouldn't be an ID to get into a single mothers club.
You should be. Okay.
No, there shouldn't be an ID. We should be allowed to go in there without any ID. You don't need to vet me and look at my car if I'm old enough. If I want to see some single mother booty shaking, I should be able to just go in there with no ID.
Nah, we need to know who you are, sucker. Okay. So we can tell your wife you're spending the light bill money up in here. Everybody says you go to the emergency room sick as a dog, you still need to show your ID and insurance card. But see, they know, or they believe, most people aren't having these conversations, right? This is why these conversations are important, because we all know that, right? But if you're listening to somebody say you're a victim all the time, what do you start saying? You're right. I am a victim. They are trying to disenfranchise me. Instead of saying, well, damn, I can show my ID to, go do A, B, C, and D just yesterday, right? I don't have a problem showing my ID to vote. But the Democrats, unfortunately, they do teach victimhood. You don't have a license. Well, they want you to have a license to vote. And now so they're racist. It's like, come on. Because there's a lot of racist things going on. I don't think that's necessarily one of them, but that's the talk. That's all the Democrats have to offer Black folks as gloom and doom. That's it.
But ask yourself, why are they dying on this hill? Because their plan backfired, and this is the only way that they can disenfranchise Republican and independent voters who might vote against the Democratic agenda. So it kind of works both ways. So, hey, if this didn't work with the illegals, we got to say illegal, and do all that other stuff. It's all a game. It's all a game.
Again, WIFBA. What's in it for Black Americans? What's in it for Black Americans?
Yeah, at the end of the day, and I don't care how you guys vote. If the Democrats get back into power, what are you going to get? Because Kamala told you in the last election, I'm not going to do anything specific just for Black people. No. And what killed me was I had a friend Wednesday who was telling me, oh, so you voted for a racist, because I stand 10 toes down. I voted for Trump, and I voted for him because there are things that he is doing that benefits me and my family. And they were like, so you voted for this racism stuff. I said, well, no, I didn't vote for all of that, but I did vote for him to get the illegals out, and he's doing that. But I said, at the same time, though, you're asking me to vote for a party that told me in my face they weren't going to do anything for me. Make that make sense.
Yeah, and Donovan, the next time somebody says that to you, say, well, did you vote for Joe Biden? Yeah, hell yeah, I voted for Joe Biden. Well, did you vote for him to open those doors as wide as he did for illegal immigrants to come over here and get all the things that everybody else has been told they couldn't get? Did you vote for that? Did you vote for A, B, C, and D that's taking place? Well, no, I didn't vote for that. So then the same thing can be true for somebody who voted for Trump or somebody who didn't vote at all, because I heard Al Sharpton say last week on the radio, well, if you didn't vote, you voted for Trump. It's like, are we still doing that?
Yeah, but but my point to him is, I don't vote the public conscious of all what's best for everybody else. I vote what's best for me. And people don't understand that. Yes, we're all Black, but guess what? What Demetra got going on and what I got going on are two different things. And so I'm not going to vote so that she's comfortable. I'm voting so that my family could be comfortable. And that's what we got to get out of this monolithic talking point that Blacks are monolith, but I don't blame them, because we do vote as a monolith. But when they find out that we don't vote as monoliths, they will work harder for our votes. And nothing against you guys out there. I do not vote so that you guys could be comfortable. I vote so that I could be comfortable and my family could be comfortable. And what Donald Trump is doing for me is getting these damn illegals up out of here. And he's giving veterans more money than any other president has done. So, I'm getting my vote's worth. But if I wanted to sit on my vote and wipe my butt with it, I'm free to do that also.
That's right. It's yours to do. Jay Money says they don't read. They just read the lines like, and they don't even do that no more. I mean, most of the time, you don't even see the pastor up there with no Bible. He just walking around screaming and hollering and humming and all kind of stuff. And they think they done got the word for the day.
Wait, I want to, somebody said this right here. Where'd it go? Jarara 1720, he or she says, never vote for someone who wouldn't invite you in their house. Trump wouldn't invite this dude. Kamala wouldn't invite you into her house. What are you talking about? None of these politicians would invite you into their house. These are millionaires. But do you see the lunacy? And no disrespect, Jarara, what you just said makes no damn sense. Kamala would not invite you into her house if you voted that way. So this is the lunacy we're talking about within our community.
Yeah. And it makes me sad in a sense, because I think we should be to the point to where we as adults should use a little bit more critical thinking, because to your point, Donovan, to say that Trump wouldn't invite me into his house almost implies that Kamala would or Biden would. But listen, hold on. I got something for y'all. I got stacks of books I need to put back in my bookshelf. Hold on. I read this. This is Kamala's book, okay? And do you know that Biden didn't even invite her to his house per se, or to the events that they would have? She said the first time she was invited to an event of the Bidens was the 4th of July, right after she announced that, or they announced that she would be running for the presidency, I think it was. They wanted to talk to her. But she says before that, her and Doug would do 4th of July and invite the Secret Service and stuff over and grill for them, because they were never invited. So you say that Trump wouldn't invite you to the house. Biden didn't even invite Kamala to the house or to the events. So, like I said, it makes me sad to hear people are still not thinking, because you're in a sense thinking that Kamala is better than Trump. She would have been better than Trump, but at the same time, they both have puppet masters. Neither one of them are good for anybody. But to demonize Donovan for voting for Trump and not demonize anybody who voted for Kamala, who was very clear that, and let's be clear, right? That was Kamala. She wasn't going to do anything specifically for Black Americans, but we saw her and Biden champion illegal immigration. They sent a whole bunch of money overseas to a whole bunch of people, right? And they told Black Americans no, right? So why are you mad at Donovan for exercising his right to vote for Trump, but not everybody else who exercised their right to vote for Kamala, who was out in the open? No, she was pissed off that she was even asked. So I'm just asking, if you don't mind. Sister Cynthia says, I have to show my ID in order to get my birth. Come on now, birth certificate. Now, does that make sense? Well, I mean, you could be anybody, right? Getting somebody's birth certificate. Hey, I'm Demetra. I'm coming to get my birth certificate. Great. Let's see your ID. And they ask you for quite a few things, right? They don't say, well, when you were born, it says that you weighed 7 pounds and 3 ounces. I know you're probably 300 pounds. I'm talking about myself, heavier now. I think that was you. So here you go, right? Obviously, I've changed quite a bit from the day I was born. So yeah, you need an ID. Let's see. Easy says, D, I know you're a public relations expert, but did you learn anything about stripper vans in that class? Not specifically about stripper vans, but I could string 2 and 2 together. Yeah, you know. That see, public relations is in a sense answering the questions, what's in it for your audience, right? Well, what's in it for the people you're trying to reach? Well, perhaps a stripper van was the tangibles that somebody needed, right? I need to see some naked asses. Yeah, I'll go to the booth, whatever. So I'm getting some out of it. I don't know. I think it's a stupid idea, but I guess it works to some degree. Venus, how you doing? Says Africa slapped God in his face by worshiping white Jesus and leaving all their natural resources to use up our resources. What happened to all the money we sent there in the 90s? I mean, the 70s. Yeah, that's sad too, to see people on the continent running around screaming and falling out over white Jesus. And it's like, but that was by design, right? They colonized and they're doing what they call the missionary trips. They're going abroad and trying to save people because there's people in Africa that don't know about Jesus. And if we don't go tell them, they going to hell. Well, what if you never reach those people? Do they still go to hell? Like, how does that work? You're just making stuff up just to go colonize and brainwash people, you know? So yeah, Brooklyn Best-Stein, how you doing? Long time no see. Says nothing is in it for us. We'll get nothing. Yeah, and even to this day, they're not answering that question.
Right. Cynthia Haynes says this, Demetra and Donovan, I would love for you to both interview my sister, Dr. Linda Lee Tarver, who is a very good friend of President Trump. She will be attending the White House for Black History. Okay, I'm gonna have to follow up on that.
Yeah, send me your information. Cynthia, and thank you so much for the donation. Says the Democratic Party thinks that Black people don't have enough common sense to obtain an ID. Shaking my head. That's why I voted for Donald J. Trump. Yeah, they. That's why I say they play it short. Like, you too stupid to get an ID. So then we go, shut up, right? We're not too stupid. But that's that, oh, you're right, it's racist that they want you to get out. And now, does the Republican Party have some nefarious, things going on? Sure, right? Because they also believe, well, yeah, there's a good amount of Black folks that don't have IDs. And if we make it mandatory to have ID, well, some of them ain't going to get an ID, so we may have a better chance type thing. But I think regardless of what it is, you should have an ID. You should have one. You send somebody to go pick your child up from the daycare, you want them to have an ID, don't you? Or you want somebody to be able to come off out the street, yeah, I'm coming to get, little Lily Jenkins. Oh, okay, yeah, where's she at? She's a girl back there with the little 2 pigtails and the pink dress. Oh, okay, come on. Go with him.
You know what's crazy? You guys have no problem getting that ID and that passport for those girls' trips to Jamaica for Renadred. You guys have no problem doing that.
You damn right we don't. When I say we, I mean them. I ain't been on no Jamaican trips. I've seen them. It's like y'all be letting them do all that to y'all. And after they just did that to somebody else who was laying down with the same bar of soap. No, I'm not gonna do anything just for black people. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Miss Sweets has just entered the talk. Good afternoon, Miss Sweets. Good to see you with us. We're on the tail end, but you can always see the replay.
Yes, indeed. And how you doing, Miss Sweets? The silent investor, how you doing? It says also the black man has been proven to be the first man, and God said, let's make man in our image. Absolutely. Yep, but they know a lot of people don't know it's blasphemy even to call yourself gods. Oh no, you going to hell. We didn't say we are the God. We say we are gods. If we are created in his image, then wouldn't that make us gods too? Yes, right? But the church has people so afraid. Nothing. Yeah, we don't compare to God, but we are gods too. But see, when you believe that you are a God as well, then you start behaving like that. You don't behave like I'm nothing, I'm worthless. No, you behave like a God. And then you also, start utilizing parts in your brain and things that you don't use, because right now we're stuck into thinking I'm just a little old nobody. But boy, when you start believing in yourself, that's a game changer right there.
Well, hey, do us a favor before we get out of here, you guys. It's absolutely free. Hit that like button, help the algorithm.
Thank you so much. And Renaya, how you doing? Yes, we are. He says, no, we are a nation, people. Absolutely. Brandy, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says so, no excuse in my opinion. Yeah, and this is coming from Miss Brandy Kane, right? She be out there in the streets doing the work of the people. They're in Los Angeles, California. So yeah, she knows all about what we saying. Absolutely. JJ says, I'll vote for the candidate for every local grassroots political position. Yeah. And we're starting to see too, there's a lot of young people who are starting to show up. And I'm looking at the younger people. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, get some of these old birds up out of office. It's sitting up there doing.
Mitch McConnell. What I think they said there's 24 people 80 and over, and half of them are running for re-election in this cycle.
The damn silent, no shade to the silent general, but come on, man. You could tell us all about the Great Depression, damn near, and here you are talking about, I'm gonna give it give it another go. Why? Maxine, I mean, like I said, she's just like, to me, like this little cute little auntie at this point. I don't want to say you can't take her seriously, like to make a joke of her, but it just, you can't, she jumping out of SUVs talking about, we ready? Are we rolling? Because I'm coming around the corner. I saw the LA. I saw the LA. Cut. I'm out of here. Greta says, I learned what about me mentality while living in Cali. Oh yes, it's doggy dog in California. That's why I tell people, if you ain't got the dog in you in California, you may not make it, because everybody hustling. Just like New York and California, everybody hustling for real. So it does get a little bit cutthroat. Gerardo, you say I voted for Ibrahim Traore, not Kamala. Okay, yeah. Well, that's a good vote. But to Donovan's point, I mean, demonize him because he voted for Trump. A lot of that is the Democrats' fault, because you didn't give people nothing to vote for. You were going to keep on with the foolishness. Kamala told everybody, she didn't even bite her tongue. When she was asked, well, is there anything you would do differently from Biden? Well, I can't think of anything.
And then from a personal standpoint, she put a bunch of single mothers in jail when she was the Attorney General of California, and she did not do the Patrice, what's her name, Mitrice Richardson thing. She played that in our faces. Anything they had to do with Black people, and like I said, a lot of you guys aren't from California, so you don't know the real Kamala Harris, but we do, because we live here. We lived through it. You're going to put single mothers in jail and then lied about it, that nobody was put in jail, and one of the people that were put in jail, and she was very highlighted, and she was on this show, is a good friend of the show, and Demetra, a good friend of Demetra, Sherry Peoples.
Yeah.
Sure enough thing. So knowing that, what I know about Kamala, why do you think I wouldn't vote for a Democrat? But why would you vote for Trump? Like I said, he got illegals out for me. He's doing for veterans. I think I could vote for that guy.
African native, you stupid. Talk about where's Trump's ID. He probably don't even know. Trump don't need it. Trump like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, ID or no ID, right? Arson says, what Donovan says about voting, it will go over most people's heads. Guys, the process of voting comes down to one goal: business. Quit seeking being liked by them. It's a trade-off. Absolutely. You're 100% right. Yeah, Donovan too. Sunlight says Kamala with her come on now, J Tribe husband and unwavering support for Israel played your dumb A by pledging, aka yeah, she all throughout the book, she talked about I will always stand with them and their right to defend themselves all throughout this book. So she wasn't going to be any. She was all right with the genocide as well. She was all right with it.
Won't stand with Black people and the right for them to defend themselves against white supremacy and police brutality under the Biden administration. What happened to our Justice and Police Act on the federal level? Never happened.
No, and it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna go to Washington and I'm gonna tell Joe Biden to sign the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act as soon as I get back.
Right. Wait. And you got to remember, see, and this is how juvenile we are as Black people. We let a first generation person who knows nothing about our struggle, the civil rights, and our history sit there and tell us, I was that girl.
Like Kamala, if you don't stop. Yeah, I watched the Cat Williams, and hey, Brother Samuel, I watched the Cat Williams stand-up comedy on Netflix not too long ago, and he says, he says, I know there was a doubt and speculation about Kamala and whether she was Black or not. And he said, I had my doubts for a minute. He says, but I knew she was a word when she didn't show up for her concession speech. When she left everybody hanging, he said, yeah, she's a... Brother Sam says, came in on somebody talking about missionary trips. The missionary trips let us know what happened to Africans. Yeah, absolutely. Now, everybody on the missionary trips is not on BS, but them people, we need to go give them the word of Jesus Christ, and they might go to hell. It's like you go to hell, okay? That's what you need to do, because you over there lying to people. You want them to lose all their knowledge of self, and now they run around fanning coats and feathers at each other, and they falling out, swinging on chandeliers like we do over here over the foolishness. And now they don't even know who they are. You keep bowing down, kissing white men's feet that look like Jesus. Like this man was a bum in the back alley of California yesterday. They done flew him over to Africa to cosplay Jesus. And y'all just, why? Why are you doing that? It's crazy. Yeah, Ty Wood, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. You know what? Maybe I'll go on the road as a Kamala Harris impersonator, right?
But what's crazy about that? She said that with a straight face, and all of these sorority women and people still voted for her. But if your man or your significant other would have told you that, you're out the damn door. You're out the damn door.
Right. Jamila, how you doing? Says the CBC is ridiculous. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I don't know what it was, a conference or something they had. It was the Divine Nine. They were all together and they were speaking about the contributions of the Divine Nine and the NAACP and the Urban League and the Congressional Black Caucus, Black History, and then the Black and Brown, and then Black History, and then the Immigrants, and then Black History. And then, we've done all these things. And it's like, if y'all don't shut up, right? As I said, I was watching it and I was mad because they kept referring to themselves as our Black leaders. We're the Black leaders, the Black leaders. I'm like, you ain't led us nowhere. What are you leading? You're leading your Black ass to more money and ingratiating white folks. That's all you're doing. You're not leading the rest of Black people nowhere but to gloom and doom. But Donovan, it just made me mad.
Yeah, but that goes to the propaganda that people absorb. They are not leaders. We are the leaders. They are called representatives. They are supposed to speak in our name. Once we start referring to them as the representatives, it's like having an attorney. Your attorney's not your boss, is he? No, or she. The attorney comes up with the strategy to get your ass out of trouble. And if you don't like that strategy, you say, no, I'm going to do this. And they have to deal with it. It's the same as a representative. But somehow they have convinced all of us and a lot of you guys out there that they're leaders. No, you're not a leader. Because if you were a leader, I couldn't vote your black ass out of there in 2 years. A leader doesn't get voted out.
Yeah, but again, like where's the leaders of the other peoples? Where they leaders at? We the black leaders, we come together with the black leaders. It's like nobody calls you, like I don't refer to you as a black leader, right? You just give yourselves these titles and you put yourself up at the helm of the black community and you talking black and brown during Black History Month at this black leader meeting, but you keep talking about the black and the brown and the immigrants and the ICE and all this other stuff. It's like, but you're black leaders, huh? Where have you led the black community that we can say, we are glad that you are our leaders? You've not led us anywhere. It's just you're grading your own damn papers. Yes, Sister Sunlight, I have heard about Newsom passing the laws. It's funny, me and my daughter was talking about this earlier. Pass the laws that allow people to sell food out of their houses. And I'm like, well, you know who that's for? Because they can't leave the house. But I'm like, well, ICE can go up in there and buy a plate, can't they?
Yeah, but if you look at the laws in the 70s, that's exactly why the Health and Human Services stopped black people from doing that, because that's what we used to do back in the day, to do like the selling plates and stuff around the neighborhood, and they stopped
raising your rent money and stuff.
Yeah, and they did that because they saw, black people were making money off of it, but then the justification was health crisis. So now all of a sudden it's okay to sell stuff out of your house. And think about this. If you're selling stuff out of your house, just like in a restaurant, doesn't that give you the government the right to come into your house and check that the greens is sitting at a right temperature?
Hold up. Making sure the greens ain't in the bathtub.
Doesn't that give them the right to do that on a health issue?
I mean, I would imagine maybe they have to have a food card or something, but I'm like, now they made that law because them people can't leave the house like that, but I'm like, well, what would stop ICE if that's what they're doing, right? What would stop ICE from going up in there and buying a plate? Thank you for the plate that come with us. Okay. Show us your papers. And I'm like, I don't know if I want everybody coming up into my house like that. Like when the candy lady did, and the candy lady was us, Donovan. The candy lady was our people. It was a candy lady or a man who sold some candies and ice creams up out the house, right? The kids went over there.
We could give you sunlight, make it all the dream. Anybody could do it because the candy man can.
Right. That was us. But like you said, when they found out old Glow the Dean was selling some, Jolly Rancher sticks and stuff about the house, oh, you can't be doing that. But now y'all
or homemade pecan candy, and there are things that you can make the confectioner's type candy and stuff. Oh, that's a health issue. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. So they think they slick. Facts and Feelings says black people, the U.S. is corrupt beyond repair. We will have to save ourselves. U.S. can't be saved. I predict U.S. will crumble in 5 different countries based on region like South, North, East, West, Southeast, and Northwest. Y'all know America's falling. Believe it or not. Sister B.
Hey, wait. I got to mention this. Miss Sweets brought it up. How many of you guys remember Miss Sweets is from up north in Milwaukee, in that area. They called it icy cups. Now, when I used to go home in Louisiana, we call it frozen cups.
Yeah. I've heard icy cups. I've heard the frozen cups, but it's called something else, and it just slips my mind. Somebody's gonna mention it. Scoop, he says, I knew she wasn't one of us. Come on, you got the hot sauce in the purse, washing greens in a dang bathtub. Exactly, I don't know.
Engine Radio says, yeah, cool cups in Texas. They call them cool cups.
Cool cups. That's what it is. Cool cups. I knew somebody would mention it. Yeah. Rocco Monroe, how you doing? It says Kamala so-called was listening to Tupac in the college in the 80s. Yeah. And Fife as well. You know what I'm saying? Fife is like, no, he don't, because he's dead. Fife is gone. He's gone. He's an ancestor now, Kamala. Okay. Unity and strength. How you doing? I appreciate the donation. Thank you, says Miss K. I appreciate to see you and ANDC. The team reaction to debate a post a month ago between Black women conservatives and Black women liberals. Was that on like one of those channels? You know, I'll see those type of things. I, for one, try to stay away from even watching that kind of stuff, and I'll tell you why. It's because mostly it's white folks who own those channels and those platforms, and they get Black people together to fight. I even saw one, the Black man against the Black woman, Black immigrants against Black Americans. It's like them white folks doing that. White folks have learned that there's money in our dysfunction. As Brother Jonell always says, right? There's money in our dysfunction. So they'd have found a way. We get some Black people from here and there to get together, and they can, and then we run up the views to, man, they be getting millions of views on that stuff. So I purposely try not to watch that. But the Black women conservative and Black women liberals, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't even watch it. Well, you ain't Trump, Kamala, and you didn't want a Black woman. You didn't want a, and the immigrants. That's what they did. And guess what? Nobody in there said. Not nan person on either side of the aisle give a damn about Black people here, there, anywhere, not with a box, not with a fox, in a house with a mouse. They don't care. What they did for that time that they were there was argue over who was the best massa for us. That was the crux. And guess who got a bag? The person who owns the channel, and it's them people, right? And we are ADNC here and everywhere. Donovan, all y'all that got channels, we talking some real good stuff. We don't get no millions of views, but we're going to watch people argue over something that ain't going to do us no good. It ain't moving the needles for Black people that you arguing over who's the better slave massa. My massa better than your massa. Because Kamala was going to be a massa, just like Obama was a massa, in a sense.
Yeah, I'm reading the comments. Everybody's talking about the good old days. Remember summertime, you guys? That was so great about summer. Girls in their little Daisy Dukes walking the streets on, not the streets, but on the sidewalk, got your little frozen cup in your hand, and, you're doing your thing. The brothers are coming the other way from playing basketball, or y'all watching us play basketball or football, whatever we're doing. These young kids don't know how fun it was to be young and actually could be outside all day and do what we do.
Ooh, don't get me started going back down memory lane. They don't have no clue. I'm telling you. I mean, my daughter had these conversations all the time, and I say, you're probably on the tail end of remembering the good times per se. These kids don't know what the good times is. Like you said, Donna, we go outside, we'd be outside for all day, playing, having fun, talking. We were just present in the moment because we didn't have the social media and all the other stuff. I mean, we did bad things, don't get me wrong, but we in a sense still had our innocence because we weren't exposed to everything right away. Like, it wasn't just at the tip of our fingertips. And, we knew what it was to actually go to a dance and dance. These kids don't dance no more because my daughter was explaining to me that a lot of times these kids don't dance because they're afraid somebody gonna do this and put them up on the internet. So they're afraid, and that's sad, that people are like, damn, if I even pretend like I'm having a good time, somebody gonna make fun of me and put me on the internet or whatever it is. But I there's sometimes, Donovan, and y'all, when I think about the 80s or the 90s, and I remember most of the 70s. I was born in 71, right? Sometimes I get teary-eyed. I do, because I'm like, man, like, I long for those times where we were just there. We were just in the moment. I'll tell y'all a story. I was watching SWV on Tiny Desk. When I watched them on Tiny Desk, I literally bawled. And my daughter was like, what's wrong with you? I said, I don't know. Just listening to them, it takes me back, when music was really good and we actually felt music. People don't feel music anymore. It's just, hold on, Donovan. Hold on. Oh, did y'all see what Sexy Red tried to do to Michael Jackson beat?
Oh my God, I was appalled. Where is the respect? Where is there's certain, you guys, I know if you guys might not agree with me, but Demetra will tell you, I have a lot of music. I love listening. Demetra loves listening to music. There are certain things you do not, if you do remake it, you remake it with respect, and you don't disrespect the music or the artist. Like, a good example, DJ Quick redid Easier Said Than Done, right? It was pretty much the same song in homage to Eazy-E. But what Sexy Red did to, oh my God, Beat It,
Because, like, I'll be honest with y'all, I saw people posting Sexy Red and did something. And I tell y'all, I'm serious. Like, I'm a blocking fool, right? I just block all kind of stuff all day long because I'm like, I really need to get some sanity on my timelines. So I had seen people posting it. And she did something with Michael Jackson's song. I was like, no, not today, Satan. I'm not going to even listen to it. So I was talking to my daughter about it, and we listened to it. I was appalled. So I listened to it because I learned that Michael Jackson's estate has put a cease and desist and said, we are going to sue. This is not cleared. Do not release that. Okay. Now, for those of y'all who didn't hear it, the song Beat It, right? Just beat it. But she's saying some other stuff that is just so gross. So gross. And as I was speaking to my daughter and my little brother about it, we're all in agreement that we think this is the tail end of the foolishness with music, because where do you go at that point? Like, you, and I know Sexy Red, I try not to beat up on Sexy Red because I know she has handlers. I know somebody above her, right, was probably like, yeah, you go ahead and get out there and talk about some, just eat it. And why? Why would you desecrate the memory and the legacy of Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson didn't clear songs all the way. Nas's song, I think it's Ain't Hard to Tell. I think that's the one. He did a Michael Jackson sample, and Michael Jackson said you can use it as long as you don't curse. And I need to hear the song, right? So the thing about
SWV cleared the sample.
Yeah,
Human Nature.
Human Nature. But he was like, there's certain things you cannot do with my music. But what she did,
and Prince was the same way. Prince was hard on his stuff.
But what she did was, it's unspeakable. And it's like, on what planet would that be acceptable? And so when I hear that song, I couldn't even finish listening to it, but I'm like, that's a direct dart to Black girls. We're not working fast enough. We're not poisoning the minds of these Black women and girls fast enough. So we got to get people like Sexy Red out there to just be, if y'all think anything that you've seen or heard her do was disgusting, this is the icing on the cake. And I said, this is to get the girls whose parents are asleep at the wheel and who will probably hear that trending on TikTok or somewhere if it was to get cleared. I hope they sue the dog mess out of her. I hope they do.
Yeah, but when you think of the days gone by, Demetra and I, there was a club, the very first club in this area you can go to. You're the 18 and older club. It's called the Metro out here, and they had a reunion. And Demetra, we all went. And look, the same girls in the same little cat suit. They try to fit in their little cat suits and stuff. And let me tell you something. Demetra was on that dance floor. She did not care. One thing about Demetra, fellas, if you take her out to dance, you better bring your tennis shoes because she's going to be on that dance floor any chance she gets.
Anybody know me? Know Demetra like to dance. Okay, I'm gonna dance. I don't care where I'm at. If the music is good, I'm going to dance. I dance on the treadmill. I dance on the elliptical. I dance. Okay, El Buddha, how you doing? Says in the 90s there were summer youth programs for high school. Yes, I was one of them. I worked for a summer youth program. So at high school, our kids to work at Pizza Hut and Burger Kings. The immigrants took those jobs. Now a bunch of Black teens have no summer programs. Yes. And I know in New York City, Zoran Mondani, he's bringing that back. I think it's like 2,600 jobs for kids. I actually had a summer job at the city, and we made pretty good money, right? It's 15. It was a youth program. You go work for the summer, you make some money and all that, and then you go to school. But you're right. Black kids aren't getting those opportunities. And like you said, even in like some of the fast food restaurants, they gatekeeping those. They are completely gatekeeping those. So they run around all summer long.
Yeah, Lance Flex 63 says her and her handlers did it on purpose right before the Michael Jackson biopic film comes out. And that's a good point. Very, very good point.
Yeah. So we're all, this is why these conversations are important, because we are all thinking the same thing. These are hits that they're doing. And, she, I'm sure they've given her a lot of money and they know things about her that she can't say no, right? So she out there because somebody allegedly leaked.
Oh, come on. It can't get any worse than Pound Town and Booty Hole Brown. I mean, come on now. It can't get any worse than that.
And that song was worse than that. And I didn't know what to say. And y'all know I'm rarely speechless. But I was like, and then of course there's some idiots out there talking about, oh, well, Weird Al Yankovic did it. Well, Michael gave him permission to do it and he liked it. Weird Al Yankovic wasn't talking about eating this, that, and he was talking about food. Okay. He wasn't talking about what she talking about. So yeah, it is, I could not believe it. Wow. Yeah, Arson says about summer days, I think the best way I saw was a meme online that said one day back in the 80s and 90s, we played outside for the last time and none of us even knew it. Come on now. Man, they have no idea. Russell, how you doing? Says this is why so many people have no social skills or verbal skills. You ain't lying. Donovan, these little boys don't even know how to talk to girls no more. They don't. The music.
Well, I'll tell you what, Donovan still has his game. My game, I got all the game.
I mean, but the music we listen to, right?
Well, we got to remember back then we talked about love. There was always love in the lyric. Not, girl, I'm kicking you down the stairs. You better have my, what?
Yeah, Candy Girl, all them songs.
As soon as I get home, baby face. You got to have the baby face in there.
I'm just saying, ready for the world.
Keep sweating, begging for the love. You got to beg for the love.
I'm telling you, that album was off the damn chain. I was 15. I remember when it came out. Dun, 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 dun. Boy.
Wait, before that. Wait, before that, in the early 80s, Oh Sheila, Tonight, Ready for the World, Slide Over, all these great songs.
Slide over. And we were in high school. I think I was going to high school when that came out. I know I was going to high school when Oh Sheila came out, but I tell my daughter all the time, I said, that's the stuff we listen to. Luther, right? We listen to, you name it, the Isley Brothers, all of that. And I'm like, we're kids. That was our source of music.
Wait. I got to say that. I got to cut you off. 1982. And all this love is Demetra was hooked.
Yeah. I'm like, who was that? Now, mind you, I'm 11 damn years old, okay? One look and I was hooked. I've been an Elder Barge fan.
What can I do?
Yeah.
To make you feel so cute.
Yes. And he was talking to me. He was talking to me. But these kids, they don't know what music is anymore. They just don't. And I'm sad for them. And even their parents, like my daughter, her music knowledge is well-rounded. She listened to my daughter has seen Steely Dan twice. I've only seen him once. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. So they don't know good music anymore. Leader says, I hope she releases it so they can sue the mess out of her. They will learn any other way. They won't learn. Yeah, I don't think she will. I think they scared the mess. Yes. You know what, Brother Samuel? You say, have you seen Tyler Perry's new movie on Netflix? Seen like his Black History tribute. The language is kind of raw. You know what? I'm going to say this. Somebody said, you got to watch it. So my daughter and I watched it yesterday and I love the movie. I really did. I said, right there, that is Tyler's strong point. That he needs to stay right there. It's called Joe's College Road Trip or something. It was an excellent movie. I loved every moment of that movie. That is Tyler's strong point right there. Yes, exquisite. How you doing? Say it's a disgrace. Yeah, very disgusting song. So, Glow, you say shame is gone society. Yet there's no shame. Anything goes. Anything goes. When I say anything, my dad, God rest his soul, he would say, my dad was a funny guy. He said, nowadays you can't tell a housewife from a hoe. He be like, they got the clothes pulled all up. You can see all kind of things. They don't have no shame. I was like, yeah, daddy, times are changing. So yeah, we done ran over time. I'd love to get to everybody's comments. You know what, DZ, you talk about I be swinging that caboose. Not quite. The caboose be swinging me. I'm just kidding.
The girls used to be in jeans with the boots, with the jeans tucked into the boots, had the little, with the hot iron hair burns by the ears and up on the forehead a little bit. You couldn't go wrong with that, fellas. And they were natural. You didn't have all that stuff in their head. It was just having fun, just, you know, doing the thing. Miss those days.
Hey, listen, Ernest, I was listening to Heat Wave when I was probably like 9, 10.
Who produced that album, Heat Wave? Same guy that did Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones.
Okay, yeah. But my brother, he used to listen to Boogie Nights. And then on the flip side of that was Always and Forever. Okay. Now that's how young we were listening to that. My brother would wear that out, Boogie Nights. And then we just flipped it over one day. And I kid you not, Always and Forever was on it. But my favorite song by Heat Wave is A Star of the Story. That is one of my favorite songs.
But real quick, 1982, you listen to your favorite radio disco jock, you got your cassette, and you waited all night long for that new song that you had heard earlier so you can record it. Remember that one? You would record the song.
They don't know. They don't want to work that hard, Donovan. We used to work hard for that. You knew your song was coming on you, but you had to push play and record at the same time. Okay? If you didn't press it at the same time, you just have to catch it the next time and come on. Okay? They don't know the struggle. Brother Salmon says, I was over a summer youth program in 1993. I went out and got great jobs for the youth where some work with civil rights organizations like the Chaney Institute that worked with the father of James Chaney. And he says, who was murdered in Philadelphia, Mississippi. One of the three, right? Says, and college officers being secretaries. Yeah. And what happened to those jobs? Tim says the best back in those days was putting together a mix, cassette, live songs for that special girl. Come on now. He said I had about four at a time. It was always work the summertime. He says, but when we went back to school the following year, damn, no matter my luck kept me in the ladies' company, have fun in those days. Yep.
But remember, even if you weren't recording songs, fellas, how many of you guys sent the dedication to old girl? You sent the dedication.
They don't do that no more. You know what they do? They text. What is it? WID.
Yeah, what you do?
What happened to the love song or something? I'm gonna dedicate this to a girl I know. Or what about the little letters you used to? They don't even write letters no more. My God. I wrote an ex-boyfriend of mine a letter. It was I was grown. I wrote the letter. He didn't even tell me he got the damn thing. Didn't even acknowledge he got the damn letter. Like I got carpet tone on everything, sucker, and I wrote you a letter and you didn't even tell me, oh yeah, I got it 2 weeks ago. You probably just balled it up and threw it in the trash. Bernard said the Telecommunication Act of 1996 signed into law by Bill Clinton, pushed by Al Gore, and a bipartisan Congress destroyed black radio, independent media, TV, and print. 30 years now, the generation have been robbed of a fair balance and distribution of great real musical talent. Yeah, especially when they were trying to do, I don't know how to take that one, but with the two live crew, yeah, that's kind of was all in that same vein, where they were trying to censor them and all that. Uncle Luke and them got into white suburbia. They was like, oh, that's enough nastiness. Nasty time is over. Hey, Albie Chill, how you doing? So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I see that we done went over time. You were late. You are late, Albie Chill. You are late, but that's okay. Better late than never. Ernest says I used to listen to 1580K. Yes, 1580K Day back in the day. Okay.
Heyday, Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters. That's where all NWA, all of them started off of that bad boy. Houdini.
Yeah. I think it's still there, but it ain't the same.
Yeah, KD's on 92.3 now.
Oh, thank you. Say the Demetri K Show is a cultural icon. Thanks, guys, for the great education. Well, you know what? We can't do it without you. I promise you, we cannot do this without you. We love having a conversation. But listen, we'll be back. Yes, the quiet storm. Yes, all of that. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, to have another great conversation with y'all. But we love doing this. JBWR, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Peace.